You can grind 16 hours a day. You can read every self-help book on earth. You can sacrifice your weekends, your sleep, and your social life. And yet, reality will still slap you back down to the exact level of money, respect, and confidence you secretly believe you deserve. Most men spend their entire lives fighting external reality. They try to work harder, talk louder, or force people to respect them. But they fail to see the brutal psychological truth. Reality does not respond to what you want. Reality responds to who you believe you are. If your internal blueprint says you are an anxious, unconfident, or average man, the universe will bend over backward to prove you right. But when you build a self-image so unshakable, so dense, and so absolute, reality has no choice but to fall in line and obey. By the end of this video, you will understand the exact psychological mechanism that allows certain men to naturally command high status, build immense wealth, and bend their environment to their will, while other men work twice as hard and remain completely invisible. Don't skip a single second of this. What we are about to dive into will completely dismantle how you view your past failures. But wait! Before we begin, please subscribe to ensure that you never miss out on any of my essential stuff. Comment, "I subscribe," below, and I will personally welcome you to our community. With that said, let's get started. Look around you right now. Your bank account, the way people talk to you, your physical conditioning, your relationships. None of these are random. They are an exact reflection of your internal self-image. Think of your mind as a thermostat set in a cold room. If the thermostat is set to 68 degrees, and a sudden burst of hot air pushes the temperature up to 85, what happens? The cooling system kicks in immediately. It pumps cold air into the room until the temperature drops back down to 68. This is why lottery winners lose all their money within 5 years. This is why the guy who gets a sudden stroke of luck or a high-paying job often self-sabotages until he's right back at his old income. His external reality spiked to 85 degrees, but his internal identity thermostat was still set to 68. His subconscious mind panicked and created chaos to bring him back to his baseline. Your internal identity dictates your external behavior, which ultimately produces your reality. Most men live in a state of constant internal friction. They want to be wealthy, but their self-image is tied to scarcity. They want to lead, but their self-image is tied to seeking approval. They are constantly trying to force reality to change without altering the master control panel inside their own minds. Here is the fundamental psychological truth. You will never consistently outperform your own self-image. You can fake it for a week, or even a month, but your subconscious will always force your reality to match your identity. So how do you rewire the thermostat? How do you raise your baseline so high that wealth, respect, and discipline become your natural default? In the 1950s, a plastic surgeon named Dr. Maxwell Maltz noticed something that terrified him. He would perform flawless reconstructive surgery on a patient, fixing a severe facial scar or correcting a crooked nose. Objectively, the patient was now physically attractive. Yet, a huge percentage of these patients insisted they looked exactly the same. They still felt ugly, shy, and insecure. Even though their external physical reality had changed completely, their brain refused to accept it. Dr. Maltz realized that every human being possesses two faces: the physical face you see in the mirror, and the psychological self-image carved into your subconscious neural pathways. If you fix the physical face without changing the psychological blueprint, nothing changes. Stay with me here, because this explains why standard positivity and manifestation advice actually makes men weaker. Most modern self-improvement tells you to sit in a room and repeat positive affirmations: "I am a millionaire," or "I am a charismatic alpha." Do you know what your subconscious mind does when you say that? It laughs at you. It knows you slept in this morning. It knows you watched mindless content for 3 hours last night. It knows you backed down from that confrontation last week. Your mind demands proof. You cannot lie to your subconscious. You cannot trick it with empty words. Your self-image is built on the hard currency of real-world evidence. If you want to change your identity, you must stop trying to convince your brain with words and start overwhelming it with undeniable proof. Fake it till you make it is the single worst piece of advice given to young men today. When you fake confidence, your body language emits microsignals of anxiety. Your vocal pitch spikes. Your eye contact becomes unnatural. You are in a constant state of fear that someone will expose you as a fraud. This creates deep cognitive dissonance. You are projecting a high-status identity while experiencing a low-status internal state. The highest-status men in history didn't fake anything. They relied on identity-based compounding. Instead of pretending to be a CEO, a high-level athlete, or a master communicator overnight, they created micropacts with themselves that they refused to break. Imagine two men who want to get into elite physical shape. Manna says, "I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week, eat clean forever, and become a monster." He lasts 4 days, misses a workout, feels guilty, and quits. His self-image takes a direct hit. He proved to himself that he is unreliable. Man B says, "I am the type of man who never misses a scheduled workout, even if I only lift for 15 minutes. Man B isn't trying to fake a physique. He is building self-trust. Every time he ties his shoes and walks into the gym, he casts an undeniable vote for his new identity. Small actions build self-trust. Self-trust updates your identity, and your updated identity shifts your reality. After 6 months, Man B doesn't have to force himself to exercise. Exercising is simply who he is. When you make a promise to yourself and keep it, no matter how small, you build an internal bank account of self-trust. When that bank account is full, real confidence becomes effortless. You aren't pretending. You simply know who you are. Don't tune out now, because we are about to address the silent habit that is currently destroying your status without you even knowing it. Your self-image is constantly leaking. Every single day, you are quietly broadcasting your value to the world through dozens of small surrenders. We call these identity leaks. The first one is the snooze button. The very first decision you make in the morning is to break a promise you made to yourself the night before. You teach your subconscious, "My comfort is more important than my goals." The second leak is approval-seeking speech, ending sentences with a higher pitch like a question, apologizing when you didn't do anything wrong, or talking super fast because you subconsciously feel you're wasting the listener's time. The third leak is physical slumping, rounding your shoulders, checking your phone every 30 seconds in public to avoid looking lonely, and making eye contact only to break it downward. And the fourth leak is consuming before creating, reaching for cheap dopamine like social media, adult content, or junk food before you have earned your morning win. When you engage in these micro-surrenders, you are training yourself to be subordinate to your environment. You are telling your brain, "I am weak, I am reactive, and I do not control my world." Historical military leaders like Marcus Aurelius or Alexander the Great didn't derive their power merely from their armies. It came from their absolute refusal to surrender their internal order to external chaos. If you want reality to obey you, you must plug the leaks. Starting today, when you set an alarm, you get up. When you speak, you lower your cadence and slow your speech. When you walk into a room, you take up space and hold your gaze. You aren't doing this to impress others. You are doing it to signal to your own subconscious mind that you are the authority in your life. Whenever two men meet, two realities clash. In psychology, this is known as frame control. The frame is the underlying context, belief, and energy that a person brings into an interaction. Whoever has the stronger, more rooted frame will inevitably pull the other person into their reality. Think about Steve Jobs. His engineers would tell him that a technological feature was physically impossible to build in 2 weeks. Jobs would stare at them, refuse to accept their premise, and state calmly that it would be done. More often than not, the engineers delivered. They called it his reality distortion field. Was it magic? No. It was the absolute refusal to adopt someone else's belief in limitation. Most men walk around with weak, fragile frames. They enter a job interview, a business negotiation, or an interaction with an attractive woman, and they immediately adopt the other person's frame. They operate from a position of wanting to be accepted and validated. A man with an unbreakable self-image operates from a totally different frame. This is my reality. I am clear on my values, my standards, and my direction. You are welcome to step into my world, but you will not alter my trajectory. When you have a dominant, calm, and unshakable frame, people instinctively look to you for direction. In moments of panic or uncertainty, human beings will always gravitate toward the man whose self-image remains unaffected by the storm. What happens when reality tests your frame? Because it will. What comes next separates average men from elite men. Here is where 99% of men fail. You decide to change. You start working out, you fix your sleep, you read books, you start a business, and you step into a new, powerful self-image. And what does reality do? Nothing. In fact, sometimes reality gets worse. Your business loses money. The girl rejects you. Your friends make fun of your new habits. The universe seems to laugh at your attempt to elevate. This is what psychologists call the reality lag effect. Physical reality is slow and dense. It is like steering a massive cargo ship. When the captain turns the wheel, the ship doesn't instantly pivot on a dime. It continues gliding forward on its old momentum for miles before the new trajectory becomes visible. When you change your internal self-image, reality will lag behind. It takes time for your external life to catch up to your internal state. During this lag phase, the universe is running a test on you. It is asking, is this new identity real? Or is he just playing a character? If you freak out, panic, get emotional, and drop back into your old habits because you didn't get instant results, you prove to your subconscious that your new identity was a fake. You failed the test. The thermostat resets right back to where it started. To build an unbreakable self-image, you must learn to navigate the lag phase with non-reactive dominance. When a loss happens, you don't break. When disrespect occurs, you don't panic. You remain anchored in your new frame, knowing with cold mathematical certainty that reality has no choice but to align with your identity over time. Right now, buried deep in your subconscious, are moments from your past that dictate who you think you are today. We call these cognitive anchor points. Maybe when you were 14 years old, you froze during a presentation and the class laughed at you. Your brain logged that event and created a rule: I am bad at public speaking. Maybe you tried to launch a business in your early 20s and lost your savings. Your brain logged that event and created a rule: I am not good with money. These ancient anchor points act like invisible chains anchored to the ocean floor of your mind. You try to swim upward, but the chain drags you right back down. Here is the psychological secret that elite performers use to rewrite their past. Memory is not a video recording. Memory is a creative reconstruction. Every single time you recall a memory, your brain rewrites the file based on your current emotional state. This means your past is not set in stone. You can literally change the psychological charge of your memories. Take every past failure, every rejection, every humiliating moment, and forcibly reframe it. Stop viewing your past failures as proof of your inadequacy. Start viewing them as the mandatory initiation tax you paid to acquire wisdom. That failed business? It wasn't a defeat. It was an expensive, real-world business degree. That painful rejection? It wasn't proof that you lack value. It was a lesson in frame control and emotional mastery. When you strip the shame out of your past and turn it into fuel, you eliminate every hook the world can use to drag you down. You become unshakable because your history no longer holds power over your future. You cannot build an elite self-image purely through intellectual thought. The body and the mind are inextricably linked. If your body is soft, comfortable, and fragile, your mind will absorb that softness as part of your core self-image. To cement a powerful identity, you must intentionally introduce voluntary friction into your daily life. What is voluntary friction? It is the deliberate act of choosing discomfort when you don't have to. When Stoic philosopher Seneca walked the streets of Rome wearing ragged clothes and eating stale bread while holding immense wealth and influence, he wasn't being dramatic. He was running a psychological audit on his own ego. He was proving to himself, I do not depend on comfort to be a man. When you force yourself to lift heavy weights, run when you're tired, take cold showers, or sit down and do 4 hours of deep, uninterrupted work without checking your phone, something profound happens in your brain. You stimulate a brain region called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. Neuroscientists have discovered that this region grows larger when you perform tasks you do not want to do, but force yourself to complete anyway. This area of the brain is directly linked to the willpower, resilience, and perceived self-efficacy of elite military operators, top athletes, and high-performing executives. Every time you embrace voluntary friction, this region physically expands. Your self-image transforms from, I hope things go well today, to, I can endure and dominate whatever comes my way. Average men operate on goals. Elite men operate on standards. Goals are built on hope. Standards are built on identity. A goal sounds like, I want to make $100,000 this year. A standard sounds like, I am a man who does not waste time, leaves nothing to chance,
and produces undeniable value every single day.
When your focus is entirely on external goals, you put your emotional state at the mercy of the world. If you miss the goal, your self-image crashes. But when you raise your internal standards, the goal becomes a natural byproduct.
Look at elite military units like the Navy SEALs or the British SAS.
Their training isn't designed to teach them how to shoot or run. It is designed to strip away men who compromise on their standards under pressure. Ask yourself right now, where in your life are you compromising your standards? Are you accepting sloppy work from yourself? Are you staying in toxic environments because it's comfortable? Are you allowing people to speak to you with disrespect without setting clear boundaries? When you accept low standards from yourself or others, you send a clear message to your subconscious mind, I am not worth high standards. The moment you raise your minimum acceptable standard, your entire life begins to reorganize itself around that benchmark. People who cannot meet your standards will naturally filter out of your life.
Opportunities that align with your new level of excellence will begin to open up.
Reality does not cater to your desires. It bends to your non-negotiable standards. Let's summarize the core law of human existence. You do not attract what you want. You attract who you are. If you continue to operate with a broken internal blueprint, no amount of hard work, luck, or tactics will save you. The invisible thermostat will always drag you back down to your baseline. Overwrite empty affirmations with undeniable real-world evidence. Eliminate identity leaks and micro-surrenders. Maintain an iron frame during the reality lag phase. Embrace voluntary friction to forge physical resilience. And hold non-negotiable standards in everything you do. When you master these principles, your self-image becomes a gravity well. You stop chasing success, respect, and confidence. Instead, you become the kind of man who naturally attracts them simply by entering a room. The world outside you is nothing more than a mirror. If you don't like what it's reflecting, stop trying to polish the mirror. Change the man standing in front of it. Starting today, audit your life. Eliminate the leaks. Hold the line during the lag phase. Build a self-image so dense, so powerful, and so anchored in self-trust that reality has no choice but to bow to your command. If you are ready to stop settling for an average life and want to unlock the full psychology of confidence, discipline, status, and success, subscribe right now. Every single week, we break down the high-level psychological frameworks that separate elite men from the rest of the world. Drop a comment below with the single identity leak you are eliminating starting today. Stand tall, build your frame, and execute. I'll see you in the next video.